Welcome back to the Expensive Coins History channel, everyone. Today we are going to take a deep look at one of the most interesting Australian decimal coins, the 1984 no-mint mark Queen Elizabeth II 5 cents coin. Many collectors and even casual hobbyists have come across this small silver-colored coin and wondered if it could be worth more than its face value. In this video, we'll explore the history and background of this coin, the meaning behind its no-mint mark, the rarity, its market value both historically and in 2025, and what features can make it worth a lot of money. So let's begin. The 5 cents coin is one of the smallest denominations in Australia's decimal currency system. It was first introduced in 1966 when Australia switched from the pre-decimal system to dollars and cents. The coin replaced the old sixpence and carried over a similar size and metallic composition. By 1984, the design had already become iconic. The obverse of the coin, or the front side, features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right and wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This portrait was created by sculptor Arnold Machin and was used on Australian coins for several years before being replaced by later effigies. The reverse side displays one of Australia's most distinctive native animals, the echidna. The detailed artwork of the echidna was designed by Stuart Devlin, who was responsible for many of Australia's coin designs. The coin is made from copper-nickel, containing 75% copper and 25% nickel, with a weight of about 2.83 grams and a diameter of roughly 19.4 millimeters. One of the questions people often ask is why the coin doesn't have a mint mark and whether that makes it rare. The answer lies in how Australian coins are produced. Most circulating Australian coins are struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, and these coins traditionally do not carry a mint mark. The absence of a mint mark is therefore standard, not an error or special variety. In 1984, a very large number of 5-cent coins were minted for circulation, over 43 million pieces. Because of that high production, the 1984 issue is considered quite common. There are, however, proof versions of the same coin that were made for collectors, which have a much lower mintage and were struck with superior quality and finish. From a rarity perspective, the 1984 5 cents coin is classified as common. It's circulated widely across Australia and can still be found in change today. However, like with many coins, condition and special features can completely change its value. An uncirculated example, meaning one that has never been used in circulation and still retains its full mint luster, is far more desirable than one that has been handled for years. Proof coins, which were made specifically for collectors and not for general use, are also much rarer and hold a higher premium. There are also occasional error coins. These can include misstrikes, double strikes, off-center strikes, or planchet errors. Such coins are much harder to find, and when authenticated, they can bring significant value from collectors who specialize in Australian minting errors. For many years, the 1984 no-mint mark 5 cents coin traded at or near face value. With its large mintage, the average circulated example is not scarce. However, collectors are always willing to pay more for high-quality coins in mint state or proof condition. In the 2000s and 2010s, typical uncirculated examples sold for only a few dollars. As we entered the 2020s, the value of Australian decimal coins in high grade began to rise slightly, particularly for coins that have been graded by professional services. A pristine uncirculated 1984 5 cents coin can now sell for around $1 to $5 Australian depending on appeal and condition. Proof examples or those preserved in original mint packaging can bring $10 to $20 or more depending on quality. Error coins, on the other hand, can command anywhere from $50 up to several $100s if the error is clear, dramatic, and authenticated. So what about today? As of 2025, the typical market value of the 1984 no-mint mark Queen Elizabeth II 5 cents coin remains modest. A circulated example will usually trade for face value or slightly above it, maybe $1 or $2 to a casual buyer. An uncirculated coin that has been kept in excellent condition may be worth between $3 and $6 Australian dollars. Proof examples, if still sealed in their original presentation packaging, can sell in the $10 to $20 range or higher depending on collector demand and condition. for graded coins that have been certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. A top mint state specimen could attract a premium if it reaches grades like MS66 or MS67. At those levels, collectors value the coin for its near-perfect surfaces and sharp detail. These top-grade examples are much harder to find because most coins from 1984 were heavily circulated. Error coins continue to be the most valuable form of this issue. A well-defined minting error can easily push a small 5-cent piece into the category of a rare collectible worth hundreds of dollars to the right buyer. If you think you have a potentially valuable 1984 5-cent coin, here's what you can do. First, examine the coin carefully under good lighting. Look for strong detail, original shine, and the absence of scratches or wear. Coins that look as if they just left the mint are always the most valuable. If your coin shows doubling of the design, missing metal, or off-center details, it could be an error piece. It's always best to have such coins inspected by a professional numismatist or grading service. To preserve the condition of your coin, handle it only by the edges, never by the faces, and store it in a coin capsule or a protective holder that prevents air and moisture exposure. Keeping it safe will help maintain its appearance and future value. From a collector's standpoint, the 1984 5-cent coin is an interesting representation of mid-1980s Australian coinage. It's part of the era when Queen Elizabeth II's portrait by Arnold Machin was still in use and before later designs were introduced. Because it is widely available, it's an excellent starting point for beginner collectors who want to build a complete decimal coin set. Looking ahead, will it increase in value? Over time, as high-grade examples become harder to find in circulation, we can expect gradual appreciation. However, this is not a coin that will become extremely valuable in the near future unless it's a proof or error specimen. It remains a piece of everyday Australian history rather than a rare treasure, but it still holds significance as part of the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign and the country's coinage evolution. To sum everything up, the 1984 no-mint mark Australian 5-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a common but historically interesting piece. It carries a design that has become iconic, it's affordable for any collector, and it reflects an important period in Australia's coinage history. While it may not make you rich, the coin is a great reminder that even everyday coins can tell fascinating stories about a nation's heritage, art, and identity. And for those who pay attention, special varieties and high-grade examples can still hold surprising value. The 1997 no-mint mark 5-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. Although it may look like an ordinary coin that you've seen 1,000 times and change, there's more to it than meets the eye. We'll uncover its history, details, rarity, collector demand, and how much it might be worth in today's market in 2025. So sit back, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly whether that little 5-cent coin in your collection could be worth a lot more than its face value. The Australian 5-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, replacing the old sixpence during the nation's decimalisation. Its design has remained unchanged for decades, featuring the echidna on the reverse, a native Australian animal known for its spines and distinctive look, and Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. The 1997 issue continued this long-standing tradition. By that year, Australia had already been minting decimal coins for over 30 years. The portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the 1997 coin was the third official effigy used, designed by Raphael Maclauff, and it shows the Queen wearing the royal diadem facing to the right. On the reverse, the echidna sits surrounded by the number 5 and the word cents. This design was created by Stuart Devlin, the official jeweler to the Queen, and it remains one of the most recognizable Australian coin designs to this day. The 1997 Australian 5-cent coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it its distinctive silvery tone. It weighs approximately 2.83 grams, measures around 19.4 millimeters in diameter, and has a milled edge. It was produced at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, and like most standard circulation coins of the time, it carries no mint mark. This no-mint mark feature can sometimes cause confusion among collectors, because people often assume that missing letters or marks indicate rarity, but for this coin, the absence of a mint mark is perfectly normal. Now let's talk numbers. The mintage of the 1997 5-cent coin was around 100 million pieces, a very large quantity for a circulating coin. That means that millions of these coins entered everyday use across Australia, making it one of the more common issues of the 1990s. Because of that high mintage, the standard 1997 5-cent coin is not considered rare in circulated condition. However, coins of this year can still attract collector interest in certain forms, particularly if they are found in mint state, proof, or error varieties. It's worth noting that uncirculated coins taken directly from mint sets or rolls are becoming increasingly difficult to find, as most have already entered circulation over the past decades. Pristine examples, especially with full original luster and no bag marks, can command a noticeable premium among collectors. The design continuity of the 5-cent coin tells a broader story of Australia's national identity. The echidna on the reverse is a symbol of resilience and uniqueness, a creature found only in Australia and New Guinea, perfectly suited to represent the country's distinct wildlife. The obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth II in 1997 marked the later years of her reign, a time of stability in Australian coinage before the introduction of the updated Ian Rank Broadley portrait in 1999. So while the 1997 coin wasn't a special commemorative issue, it sits at an interesting point between two eras of design and production. Many people get excited when they see the phrase, "no mint mark," assuming it automatically means they have stumbled upon a rare error coin. In Australia's case, this is not true. Unlike countries such as the United States, where coins are minted at multiple facilities with identifying marks, Australia's standard circulation coins are almost always struck without mint marks unless part of a special release or collector edition. So while the 1997 5-cent coin technically has no mint mark, that fact alone doesn't make it rare. The real value comes from condition, special varieties, or minting errors. Error coins can transform an ordinary 5-cent piece into something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Examples of valuable errors include off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, planchet flaws, or coins struck on the wrong metal blank. If a 1997 5-cent coin exhibits one of these genuine minting mistakes, it could be highly valuable to collectors. But these are very rare, and authentication by a professional grading service is recommended before assuming any high value. Aside from errors, collectors also seek coins in top condition. A flawless uncirculated 1997 5-cent coin can be worth many times its face value simply because so few have survived in perfect state after nearly 3 decades. So how much is the 1997 no mint mark Australia 5-cent coin actually worth in 2025? For the average circulated example, the type you might find in your change, the value typically remains close to its face value, around 5 cents. However, collectors may pay between $1 and $3 for a clean, lightly circulated example, simply for completion of a date run in a collection. For uncirculated examples, values can range from about $3 to $10 depending on grade and eye appeal. For coins in proof condition, meaning those struck to a mirror-like finish for collector sets, the value is typically higher, sometimes between $10 and $20 depending on demand and packaging. If you're lucky enough to have a genuine mint error coin from 1997, the story changes entirely. Depending on the nature and severity of the error, such coins can sell anywhere from $50 to several $100s, or even more in exceptional cases. So while most 1997 5-cent coins remain common, there is potential for higher value if the coin is uncirculated, proof, or displays an authentic minting error. Condition plays the biggest role in a coin's value. Collectors often use terms like good, very fine, extremely fine, uncirculated, or proof to describe coins. If your 1997 5-cent coin shows heavy wear, dull surfaces, and scratches, it will likely remain near face value. But if the surfaces are bright, details sharp, and there's no wear on the high points of the design, you may have an uncirculated coin that's worth holding onto. To preserve it, handle it only by the edges, avoid cleaning it with chemicals or abrasives, and store it in a coin flip, capsule, or airtight container to protect it from moisture and tarnish. Let's clear up a few myths that often appear online. Myth 1. The 1997 5-cent coin is extremely rare. In truth, over 100 million were produced, so rarity only applies to special conditions or errors. Myth 2. No mint mark makes it valuable. This is false. all regular circulation coins of that year were produced without mint marks. Myth 3, old coins are always valuable, age alone doesn't determine value, rarity, demand, and condition do. Myth 4, shiny coins are always uncirculated, not necessarily. Polishing or cleaning can make a coin appear shiny, but that actually decreases its numismatic value. As of 2025, the 1997 no mint mark Australian 5-cent coin remains a modest yet interesting collectible. While the majority of pieces in circulation are worth only a few cents, high-grade uncirculated or error examples continue to gain attention among collectors of Australian decimal coinage. Its value is unlikely to skyrocket, but it holds enduring appeal as part of Australia's modern monetary history and as a symbol of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. If you find one in exceptional condition, it's worth holding on to, not because it will make you rich overnight, but because it's a tangible piece of Australia's heritage that continues to tell its story through time. 1998 Australia 5-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. We'll explore its fascinating history, its design, the story behind the so-called no mint mark version, its rarity, collector appeal, and of course, its current market value in 2025. If you have one of these coins sitting in a jar or collection, stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it's worth and what to look for. The Australian 5-cent coin is the smallest denomination in Australia's decimal currency system. It was introduced in 1966, when Australia moved away from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to decimal currency. The 5-cent coin replaced the pre-decimal sixpence and has remained in circulation ever since. The coin we're talking about today, the 1998 issue, carries the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on one side and the iconic echidna design on the other. It's a coin that millions of Australians handled every day, but as with all coins, even the most ordinary can sometimes hold a hidden story or potential collector's value. The obverse, or head side, of the coin features Queen Elizabeth II, facing to the right. This portrait is known as the third official effigy, designed by sculptor Raphael Maklauf. It shows the Queen wearing the royal diadem, an elegant and detailed depiction that was used on Australian coins from the mid-1980s until the late 1990s. On the reverse, we see the famous echidna design created by the late Stuart Devlin, one of Australia's most celebrated coin designers. The echidna, sometimes called the spiny anteater, is a unique Australian animal and has appeared on every 5-cent coin since decimalisation began. The coin is struck from a copper-nickel alloy, made up of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs around 2.83 grams and measures about 19.4 millimeters in diameter. These specifications have remained constant for decades, making it easy for collectors to identify. Many collectors often ask about the no mint mark 1998 5-cent coin and whether it makes it rare. In the case of Australian coins, the answer is simple. Circulation coins produced by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra do not carry a mint mark. That means the lack of a mint mark is completely normal, not an error or special variety. In Australia, mint marks have occasionally been used on special commemorative issues or coins struck at other facilities for sets or limited editions, but not on the standard coins that went into everyday use. So, the 1998 no mint mark 5-cent coin is simply the regular version, and all circulation coins from that year were made without a mint mark. The Royal Australian Mint produced over 88 million of these coins in 1998, making it one of the more common issues of the decade. These coins were widely used across the country, and most of them remain in circulation to this day, though worn examples are gradually being retired from use. With such a high mintage, rarity is not something associated with this particular year. However, condition and presentation can still play a major role in determining the value of any coin, even one as common as this. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is influenced by several factors: how many were made, how many have survived in good condition, and whether there are known varieties or minting errors. The 1998 5-cent coin does not have any major known minting varieties. All were struck at the same mint, to the same standard, and with the same design. Therefore, rarity comes down almost entirely to the condition of the coin. Coins that have been heavily circulated will show visible wear on the Queen's portrait and on the echidna's spines. These are considered common and generally worth only face value. However, coins that have remained uncirculated, meaning they show no signs of wear, scratches, or dullness, are much scarcer. Collectors often seek out coins in uncirculated or mint state condition for their collections, and these can command a modest premium. Although the standard 1998 5-cent coin is common, there is always the possibility of finding an error coin. Error coins can include off-center strikes, die cracks, double strikes, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These mistakes are very rare and are usually the result of a mechanical issue during the minting process. A genuine mint error can dramatically increase the value of a coin, sometimes into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the type and visibility of the error. However, true mint errors are uncommon, and many coins that people think are errors turn out to be simply damaged after leaving the mint. If you believe your coin might be an error, it is always best to have it examined by a professional numismatist or a reputable coin grading service. Now, let's talk about what the 1998 No Mint Mark 5-cent coin is worth today. In the year 2025, in circulated condition, the kind you might find in your change, the coin is worth only its face value, which is 5 cents. Because so many were made, and because it is still legal tender, there's no collector premium for coins in average worn condition. For coins in excellent condition, meaning uncirculated or near uncirculated, the value can rise slightly. On today's collector market, a bright, well-preserved uncirculated example might sell for between $2 and $4 Australian dollars. Coins that have been graded by a professional service, showing absolutely no wear and pristine luster, could reach slightly higher prices, especially if sold to specialist collectors. If the coin exhibits a genuine and verified minting error, the value could be much higher, but again, that is the exception, not the rule. Overall, the 1998 Australian 5-cent coin is considered common and affordable. Its worth lies more in its history and design rather than its monetary value. From time to time, social media posts and online listings circulate claims that certain coins, including the 1998 5-cent piece, are worth thousands. These claims are usually based on misunderstandings or exaggerated marketing. The phrase, no mint mark, often confuses beginners, leading them to assume that such coins must be rare or special. In reality, the absence of a mint mark on Australian circulation coins is completely normal. The real value in coin collecting comes from condition, errors, and genuine scarcity, not from a feature that every coin of that type shares. Always be cautious of inflated prices online, especially from sellers using terms like extremely rare without official grading or proof. Checking actual sold prices, rather than asking prices, gives you a much clearer picture of real market value. If you own a 1998 5-cent coin and want to know whether it's worth keeping, here are a few useful tips. Check the condition carefully. Look for sharp details on the queen's crown and the echidna's spines. The fewer scratches and the more shine, the better. Avoid cleaning your coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and significantly reduce its value to collectors. Compare with known examples. If you think you have an error, compare it with regular coins from the same year. Store it properly. Keep the coin in a dry, protected holder or capsule to preserve its quality. Consider professional grading. If you believe your coin is in exceptional condition, grading can help confirm its state and make it more attractive to buyers. Be realistic about value. Even a perfect coin may not be worth a fortune, but it's still a piece of Australian history that tells a story. Beyond its financial value, the 1998 5-cent coin is a small but significant artifact of Australia's modern monetary history. It represents a time when copper-nickel coins were still the everyday standard, long before electronic transactions and digital payments began to dominate. For collectors, it also marks one of the final years of the Maklauf portrait of the Queen before the introduction of the next effigy design in 1999. That makes it an interesting piece for anyone building a complete year-by-year set of Australian 5-cent coins. While it may not be a high-value rarity, it's still part of the broader numismatic story, a reminder that every coin, no matter how common, has a place in history. The 1998 Australian 5-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the echidna on the reverse. It was produced by the Royal Australian Mint with no mint mark, which is completely standard. Over 88 million were minted, making it a common issue.in circulated condition. It is worth its face value of 5 cents.in uncirculated or mint state condition. It might bring in a few dollars from collectors. Only verified mint errors or exceptional examples can achieve higher prices. The coin remains a small yet charming part of Australia's decimal coinage heritage. The 1999 no mint mark 5-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth I. At first glance, it might seem like an ordinary coin that still turns up in loose change, but behind that little silver-colored piece lies an interesting story of design, production, and collector value. We'll explore its history, specifications, rarity, and the truth about whether this coin is really worth a lot of money. Finally, we'll finish with its realistic market value and collector outlook for 2025. Australia introduced decimal currency on the 14th of February 1966, replacing the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. The 5-cent coin was introduced as part of this new decimal series, replacing the pre-decimal sixpence in value and size. By 1999, more than 30 years had passed since decimalisation, and the 5-cent coin had become one of the most familiar coins in Australian pockets. The 1999 issue continued the same general design that Australians had known since 1966. The obverse side, the front of the coin, features the fourth official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley. In this depiction, the Queen is wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, and the initials, IRB, appear below the neckline. On the reverse side, the coin features the short-beaked echidna, a design created by the renowned Australian artist and goldsmith Stuart Devlin. The echidna, with its distinctive spines and round body, is one of Australia's most iconic native animals and has remained on the 5-cent coin since its introduction. The coin is struck from a copper-nickel alloy, 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it a bright silvery appearance. It weighs approximately 2.83 grams, measures about 19.4 millimeters in diameter, and has a reeded edge. Importantly, the 1999 5-cent coin carries no mint mark, as it was produced by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, which does not typically use a mint mark for its circulating coinage. Now let's look at how many of these coins were made and whether they can be considered rare. In 1999, the Royal Australian Mint produced roughly 179 million 5-cent coins for circulation. That is a massive number by any standard, and it makes this particular year one of the higher mintage issues in the 5-cent series. Because of this large production, the 1999 5-cent coin is considered common in circulation. You can still find it in everyday change, and it is not regarded as scarce or rare in normal circumstances. However, collectors do value coins based on several factors, and rarity is just one of them. Condition, errors, special varieties, and presentation strikes such as proofs all play a major role in determining actual market value. So, if the coin is common, what makes any particular 1999 5-cent coin valuable? First, condition. Coins that have never been used in circulation, known as uncirculated or mint state coins, are far more desirable to collectors. These coins retain their full mint luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear. A 5-cent coin that has been in circulation for decades will show scratches, dull surfaces, and flattened details, especially around the Queen's portrait and the echidna's quills. Such circulated examples generally hold only their face value, which is 5 cents. Second, errors or varieties. Occasionally, minting errors such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks can occur during production. These error coins are rare and can attract strong interest from collectors. A genuine error can sometimes lift the value of a 5-cent coin from a few cents to several dollars or even more, depending on how dramatic or unique the mistake is. Third, proof or special collector versions. The Royal Australian Mint also produced proof coins for collectors in 1999. These coins are struck with specially polished dies on highly prepared planchets, giving them mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Proof coins were never intended for circulation, and they are usually found in presentation sets. These proof examples can be worth significantly more than ordinary circulation strikes. Finally, certified grade. When a coin is professionally graded and encapsulated by a reputable grading service such as NGC or PCGS, its value can increase, especially if it receives a high mint state grade such as MS 66 or higher. However, it's important to remember that grading fees often exceed the market value of most common 5-cent coins, so grading is usually reserved for exceptional specimens. Now, let's talk about what this coin is actually worth today, in the year 2025. For a circulated 1999 5-cent coin, the value remains very close to its face value. In other words, a well-worn example is worth about 5 cents. If the coin is in very fine to extremely fine condition, showing light wear but still with most details visible, collectors might pay around 20 to 30 cents for a coin in uncirculated condition, with sharp details and bright mint luster. The value may rise to between $1 and $3 depending on eye appeal and quality. If you have a proof version, which came from a 1999 proof set, its value can range from about $10 to $20, sometimes more if the coin remains in its original packaging and certificate, and if you happen to own a silver proof coin from the 1999 Masterpieces in Silver collection, its value is considerably higher, as these were struck in sterling silver rather than copper nickel. Those coins often trade in the range of $40 to $60, depending on condition and presentation. In short, while the standard copper-nickel 1999 5-cent coin is common and low in monetary value, there are special versions and conditions that make certain examples far more desirable to collectors. It's important to address the common misconception that every 1999 5-cent coin is rare or valuable. This idea often spreads online through listings or videos that exaggerate the worth of ordinary circulation coins. The truth is that the overwhelming majority of 1999 5-cent coins are common. The Royal Australian Mint struck millions of them, and many are still in use today. A coin must have something unusual, either a remarkable minting error, an exceptionally high grade, or be a proof or silver strike, to carry real collector value. For everyday circulated coins, the material value is very low because the copper-nickel alloy has little intrinsic worth. Even as a collectible, the supply greatly exceeds demand, which keeps prices modest. So while it's fun to check your change, don't expect to retire on your 1999 5-cent coin unless it truly stands out for a special reason. If you're a coin collector or thinking about starting, here are a few tips regarding this and similar coins. Look for quality over quantity. Collecting a single coin in superb condition is usually more rewarding than hoarding large numbers of worn examples. Handle coins carefully. Hold them by the edges and avoid touching the surfaces. Fingerprints, scratches, and moisture can permanently reduce a coin's value. Store properly. Use acid-free holders, coin flips, or capsules to prevent damage from air, humidity, and handling. Research before buying. Check reputable coin catalogs, auction results, or certified coin sales for realistic prices. Be cautious of inflated listings. Many online sellers post ordinary coins at high prices that do not reflect real market value. Always compare multiple sources and look at actual sold listings rather than asking prices. Learn to grade coins. Understanding the difference between fine, very fine, and uncirculated grades will help you evaluate coins more accurately and avoid overpaying. Enjoy the history. Remember that coins are more than metal discs, they are miniature time capsules that tell the story of a nation, its leaders, and its artistry. Could the 1999 5-cent coin ever become valuable in the future? Possibly, but not dramatically so. As time passes, pristine examples will naturally become scarcer as coins continue to wear out or disappear from circulation. That scarcity might slowly increase demand among collectors who aim to complete year-by-year sets. However, because of the very high original mintage, even that long-term appreciation is likely to be modest. The 5-cent denomination has also been under review for potential withdrawal due to rising production costs and its declining purchasing power. If the coin were eventually withdrawn from circulation, collector interest could grow slightly, but again, not to extraordinary levels. The bottom line is that the 1999 no-mint mark 5-cent coin is a common yet historically interesting piece of Australia's decimal coinage. Its value lies more in its story and condition than in any inherent rarity. the 1999 Australian 5-cent coin features Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and an echidna on the reverse. It was produced in huge quantities, around 179 million coins, making it a very common issue. Circulated examples hold only face value. Uncirculated examples can bring $1 to $3. Proof and silver versions command higher prices, generally between $10 and $60 depending on type and condition. Exceptional error coins can be worth much more, but they are rare. So, while the 1999 no mint mark 5-cent coin is not a hidden fortune, it remains a charming and collectible piece that reflects Australia's modern coinage history and the enduring legacy of Queen Elizabeth II on Australian currency. The 2000 no mint mark 5 cents coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. We'll take a closer look at its history, design, rarity, and most importantly, its current market value and worth in the year 2025. Whether you are a coin enthusiast, an investor, or simply someone who found this coin in your change, this video will tell you everything you need to know. Let's start with the background and design. The Australian 5 cents coin was introduced in 1966 when Australia transitioned from the old pounds and pence system to decimal currency. It replaced the pre-decimal sixpence and has carried the same reverse design ever since. The reverse features the echidna, a unique native animal known for its spines and long snout, symbolizing the rich wildlife of Australia. The design was created by Stuart Devlin, who was appointed goldsmith and jeweler to Queen Elizabeth II. On the obverse side of the coin, we find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait, introduced in the late 1990s, depicts a more mature image of the Queen, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland diamond tiara. Around her portrait is the inscription, Elizabeth II Australia 2000. The coin itself is made of a copper-nickel alloy, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 2.83 grams, has a diameter of 19.41 millimeters, and features a reeded edge. Like most Australian circulation coins of this period, it was produced by the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra and carries no mint mark. Now let's discuss the mintage and rarity. The year 2000 was a busy year for the Royal Australian Mint, with millions of coins struck for circulation across all denominations. Approximately 97 million 5-cent coins were minted that year. Because of such a high mintage, the 2005 cents coin is generally considered common in circulation. It is not classified as a rare or low mintage issue. However, even common coins can have collectible value depending on condition and demand. The main factor that determines the value of the 2005 cents coin is its grade. Coins that have been heavily circulated will show wear and lose their luster, while those that were never used or carefully preserved can remain in brilliant uncirculated condition. Uncirculated coins, especially those with strong details and no blemishes, are the most sought after by collectors. When it comes to market value in 2025, the standard circulated 2005 cents coin still holds its face value of 5 cents in Australia. In average used condition, it is worth only its denomination. In lightly circulated or extremely fine condition, the coin might be worth slightly more to collectors, perhaps between 10 and 30 cents. In uncirculated condition, where the coin shows full mint shine with no marks or wear, the value can range between 50 cents and $1. Coins that have been graded professionally as gem uncirculated or mint state 65 and above can sell for a few dollars, typically up to $5, depending on the overall quality and appeal. Although this coin is not rare in normal form, there are situations where it can be worth much more. Coins with genuine minting errors, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, double strikes, or planchet flaws, can attract significant collector interest. Error coins are valued individually depending on the type and visibility of the mistake. If you believe your coin has an unusual feature, it is always worth having it assessed by a professional coin dealer or numismatist. It's important to note that the 2005 cents coin should not be confused with some of the famous Australian error coins like the 2007 double-headed 5 cents or the 2001 dollar mule coin. Those are extremely rare and valuable, whereas the regular 2005 cents coin is a standard circulation issue. Let's now touch on the historical and sentimental value. Even though this coin is common, it represents an important era in Australian coinage. It belongs to the long series of coins featuring Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign spanned 70 years and marked one of the most significant periods in modern history. After her passing in 2022, coins bearing her portrait have gained renewed interest among collectors. Many people are now choosing to preserve coins from the late Queen's reign as historical keepsakes. This adds a small sentimental and collector premium to coins such as the 2005 cents, especially those in pristine condition. As Australia transitions to new coin designs featuring King Charles III, older coins featuring Queen Elizabeth are expected to become more collectible over time, not necessarily for their monetary worth but for their historical significance. To summarize the coin's current standing in 2025, a standard 2000 no-mint mark Australian 5 cents coin in circulated condition is worth 5 cents. In extremely fine condition, it might reach 10 to 30 cents. In uncirculated condition, it may be worth around 50 cents to $1. In gem uncirculated or mint state condition, the coin can be valued between $2 and $5. Rare varieties, if genuine, can be worth much more depending on rarity and demand. If you come across one of these coins, it's always worth checking the details closely. Look at the edges, the lettering, the date, and the overall strike quality. Small variations can make a big difference in the coin's appeal and value, even if it doesn't turn out to be rare. Keeping a well-preserved example of this coin is a nice way to hold on to a piece of Australian history. It marks a turn-of-the-century design and one of the many everyday coins that pass through the hands of millions of Australians. So, while the 2005 cents coin without a mint mark is not likely to make you rich, it remains a fascinating piece of numismatic history. For collectors, it offers an affordable entry into the world of coin collecting, and for others, it's a reminder of the legacy of Queen Elizabeth II and the enduring tradition of Australian coinage. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this detailed breakdown and would like to learn more about the value of Australian coins, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned for more coin guides, collector insights, and updates on current market trends. Until next time, happy collecting and take care.